Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Kukowski.
Got a battle of the borders.
Yeah, it was always Wisconsin versus Minnesota, the border battle. We
Border
always
battle.
love to see it here, and that's what we were going to see as we see first Kukowski from nearby Wayzata, Minnesota. Well, nearby if you live in the state of Wisconsin, because everything in Minnesota is kind of nearby. And he is looking for his first victory as well, an 0-1 amateur record as he made the drive down. And I tell you what, the drive down, not too easy. It is slick.
And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, Jesse Williams.
So Jesse Williams representing Green Bay, Wisconsin, title town, and making his debut. I do have to say, I've been doing these fights now for quite a few years, and we are seeing more amateurs come in better shape than I think I've ever seen before. Training and especially getting into shape is becoming much more of a thing even for amateur fighters.
I was just about to say, I mean, this fighter right here, Kukowski, I mean, he looks in shape. I mean, if you look at him, 0-1. I mean, he's coming off a loss, but I mean, you can see that he's ready to go, and he's pacing the cage, looking at his opponent, staring him down. So I can tell this is going to be a good fight. And his opponent right here, Jesse Williams, this is his first fight. We don't know much about him, but he's coming from Green Bay, the land of Aaron Rodgers. So we know he's going to bring a show.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he's
in
shape. Yeah,
you
you could tell dude's been working out. And, you know, I kind of like that because, you know, we saw, you know, maybe going back to Chosen Few Fighting Champions number 8, 9, in the early fights, you'd see some guys come in way out of shape, and you wonder, like, are they really serious about that? These guys look serious as we go up.
All right, the second bout of the evening brought to you by Carbon World Health. 3 3-minute rounds in amateur MMA. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man weighed in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Wayzata, Minnesota, representing the Academy MMA, Kukowski. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, also weighed in at 185. Fighting out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and he is an independent MMA practitioner. He is Jesse Williams.
So you mentioned about the passion.
Your referee, Tom DeValis.
That's hard, isn't it?
I think being an independent guy, you got something to prove. So, because everybody's looking at you as an underdog. You're not at another gym, but that doesn't mean that you're not a martial artist, right? The way of the warrior. So, and he looks like he has something to prove right here. Here we go.
Both guys looking focused as we get
Let's
set
fight.
our second fight of the night.
And right away, he's coming out real fast.
Both guys coming out aggressive as we do see Kukowski going right for the body and trying to tie up Williams early on.
Well. So what Jesse needs to do, he needs to keep that hand right there on that right elbow. Also look to establish good head positioning. And don't let Matt get up under his hips. He's doing a real good job right now defending, keeping his hips down.
And Kukowski trying to do that, and I think what he would like to do is he's putting his body weight up against Williams, against the side of the cage, is to get Williams to the ground.
Yeah, he needs to mix it up a little bit with a little bit of stomps here and there, make it a little bit nasty, get Jesse thinking about some other strikes, and then go for that takedown again. But as we can see, Jesse is defending really well. Good knee to the body. I'll tell you what, these first two fights have been some really, really fast starts.
Good action here early on as Williams, again, you mentioned the knee, and now it's Kukowski that is able to land a knee as well. A lot of times I think fighters, they're in that position. You talked about the stomp as one of the moves. Sometimes they forget about that knee and how devastating a knee hit to the midsection can actually be.
Welcome to the amateurs. These are the things that you find out about trial by error, you know. So it's very, very rare that you see amateurs come in and establish those knee to the bodies right away. And Jesse set that knee up really well, but the key for both of these guys here is to keep a good pace. As we see, they both started off real fast. That's so typically what you see with these amateur fighters is they start off real fast. So it's important for both of them to calm down, take a deep breath.
Kukowski got the takedown. He is on top if you were looking at both of our fighters right now going at it. Again, the second of 9 fights here in Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 22. As you take a look at Williams underneath, what is he trying to do right here?
Right now it just looks like he's just trying to hold position and gain his breath and do exactly that, get his breath back. Right now I think he's looking for the ref to get a stand up, as well as Mac is right now is looking to get his breath back, and he's not doing much with his position. As we can see right now, Jesse's looking for to set up to throw his legs over the top for an arm triangle, for arm bar.
So we talked about a debut for Williams, just the second fight for Kukowski. So you talk about how fast that they end up coming out. By the end of that first round, do you feel a little tired? Are you feeling it already or no?
That's usually when the adrenaline dump goes away. It already came and go, and that's when you get to that round, you take that deep breath, and you just calm down, because usually you are tired after that first round. And that second round is usually when you see these amateur fighters look to get that breath back, and the third round is who wants it the most. So I'm interested to see how these next couple of rounds are going to go for both of these guys. They both started off really fast and had their moments.
Absolutely. 10 seconds now as you heard the cowbell rung there by Mike Rogers on the other side of the cage from us. Final 10 seconds. There we go. The final actual few seconds of round number 1 have waned. We will go to round number 2 right after this on TVW. Looking at action from round number 1, and a lot of it was an early tie-up. We saw Kukowski, there was the one takedown, and that was pretty much the highlight of the round. After that, just a lot of fighting for position, grappling, stuff like that. Yep. What do each of these fighters need to do in round number 2, Alton?
Both of them need to just get it right now, take a deep breath. I would say with Jesse, he needs to take a step back, establish a jab. He's the longer fighter. You know, so he needs to establish that jab and be a little more active on the bottom, because they're both not that active. And Mac needs to be a little more active and aggressive in those clinch ties and establish those takedowns. And I would like to see a little more activity from both of them.
So
just
a lot
making
of times,
it a little bit more annoying, getting your opponent thinking about something else.
I'm imagining when you're in there quite a few times, you got that reach advantage. You're the taller, longer fighter. Is it hard to keep a guy at distance?
It is not if you utilize a jab. Utilize a jab and utilize proper range. But that comes in time with these amateur fighters as well, too.
It looked like Williams trying to do that early on, then he couldn't resist throwing that right hand, leaning forward, and now he ends up getting tied up and in a position that he didn't seem too comfortable in round number 1. Kukowski kind of controlled the pace of that round, and now Williams back on the defensive again, as he has had to go chest to chest with Kukowski twice, and here is another takedown by Mac.
Just picked him up and slammed him. So right now I would like to see Mac be a little more active right here.
And when you talk about being a little more active, you mean with his hands?
Just a little more active with his punches to make it more annoying, to get into a more dominant position. You know, right now Jesse has his legs open, so he can push that leg down, that left leg down, to get into half control, half guard.
That's what his corner's telling him to do right now. He had that left hand free for a second, got it free again, and that seems to be the fight right there, is Kukowski's trying to get that left hand free. When he does, he's laying blows into the side of the head of Williams.
Jesse needs to look to get that positioning back, because right now in half guard, right now this is kind of a safe position for him, but once Mac is able to get his right leg out, he'll be in side control, which things start to get a little more dangerous. So it's important for him to get back and establish that open guard. Right now he has his back towards the cage, so he should be trying to look to press his back up against the cage and stand up.
And he is trying to wiggle his way, it seems like, over to the side of the cage. Either that or Kukowski's fine to go ahead and push his head up against the cage as well. Williams, boy, he's been in a defensive position for most of this fight and really not doing any scoring.
He is not. Right now, Mac is starting to take over.
As now Kukowski with that right hand free was able to get a shot in as well. Williams again continuing to try to work his way out of it, but if there's any scoring being done at all, it is being done by the Gopher from Minnesota.
It's important for Jesse right now is to get that left elbow away from his head, because right now he's in that's a dangerous position, especially when it comes to he potentially can get arm triangle.
You
he should be looking
right
to take that lead hand, that left hand, and press away at his head so he's able to push back and get a stand-up because he has the guard right now. So he needs to press that lever. See, as we see right now, Max is looking to stand up and drop strikes down.
Mac trying to get that left hand free once again. That's been the one where he's been scoring that he's been able to do. As
He's just cruising. He's cruising.
Finally, a right hand landed by Williams. Probably the only scoring he did all round long. So round 2 in the books. The third and final round is next.
Now they're going into round 3.
They are going to round 3 as we look at action from round number 2 as that takedown once again. That's basically what we've shown in our 2 replays. Our 2 takedowns are almost mirror images of each other, as that has been the summation of scoring as Matt Kukowski probably up 2-0 in this fight as we go to the third and final round. And that means if you're Williams and you know you're behind on the scorecard, this is when you can get a little desperate, right?
This is when you need to step back and you need to establish your range. Right now he's getting way too aggressive, stepping in way too hard, trying to get the knockout punch. And right now Max doing exactly what he needs to do. This isn't the ideal fight for fans to see. But right now Mac is fighting his fight. He's dominating the fight. And right now those takedowns has been significant, and Jesse hasn't been able to get back up. So as long as he's sticking with what he's doing now, hey, he's cruising to victory and live to fight another day.
Another takedown that was almost like the first 2 rounds, kind of that pick the guy up and throw him down, laying right on top of him. Kukowski, this whole fight is fighting that kind of style where he puts his chest on Williams' chest and is not letting go.
He's fighting that hard-nosed grinder wrestling style. You know, he's doing what brought him to the ball game. You know, he's doing exactly what got him to the ball game, and that's perfectly fine. He's establishing his wrestling right now. This is when he should be looking to be a little more active on top. And what I mean is just peppering with little small strikes. You know, you don't need to get necessarily aggressive, but when you got a guy like Jesse who's not really necessarily looking to stand up and not necessarily attacking with the submissions, this is when he can take a little more risk and looking to finish the fight.
Kukowski again controlling the action here in the third and final round. That kind of style where it's like chest-to-chest fighting too, it kind of reminiscent, if you're a fan of Chosen Few Fighting Championships going back with us over the years, kind of reminiscent of me. You would see Mark Lemminger do that quite a bit to his opponents, and I know that's a guy that that you're familiar with.
Oh, absolutely.
And so you've seen him do it. I think, you know, it's kind of frustrating when you're on the other end of it, when you can't get a guy off of you. I would think as a fighter that's hard, isn't it?
One thing that separated Mark from a lot of fighters that had that hard-nosed style is that Mark's pressure has always been relentless, and Mark is always looking for the finish, whether it's for whether it's with strikes over on top, or looking to set up the strikes to get a submission, or whether it's just looking to hit you standing up. But he's looking for the finish and putting the pressure on you the whole time.
Speaking of a finish, our referee Tom DeVilbiss is going to say that's enough. No, or he just stood him up. Okay, he saw enough of that. And I wasn't sure if he was just going to call the fight and say, hey, Jesse Williams isn't doing anything defensively. A combination there from Williams. This is where Williams seems a lot more comfortable. When he's just banging away, this is where he looks good. And Kukowski says, yep, I've had enough of that.
20 seconds. Jesse needs to push off and just throw some hands. He needs to push off and throw hands. He has 15 seconds to work.
Good combos landed by Williams, but it might be too little too late as Kukowski holding on and looking for another takedown.
With a big slam.
And he slams down Williams here at the end of round number 3. We will go to the scorecard.
Put a stamp on that round.
Absolutely. A nice finish there by Kukowski and Williams. A flurry at the final moments. We'll see who takes the fight right after this on TVW. Round 3 action here as we take a look at the final takedown. Kukowski doing it almost WWE style, looking for the big body slam and finishing on top of Williams. As we think that's how the scorecard's going to go too.
If you're a WWE fan like me, Royal Rumble is tonight,
yep.
So that was a good way
to pay homage to the Royal Rumble.
There you go. Indeed, I've already had a lot of people telling me about it. It's like, Royal Rumble's tonight. I'm like, listen, you can see this and you can watch the Royal Rumble whenever you want now. It's not like back in the old days where you had to watch everything live and do that. Come watch this live. You can watch that whenever. If you don't want the notifications and the results, just turn the notifications off on your phone. This isn't rocket science. You're going to be okay. People are freaking out about it. I'm like, you can watch it whenever you want to.
Oh,
it's the great thing about modern television. It bends to you.
Let's watch some potential future stars of the sport of MMA.
Absolutely, and come see a live show. It's always better, as we are finally getting the word from Ken Bostetter. Took a little time here to go ahead and get the scores from the judges, but let's hear what Ken has to say and get the final decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for these two fighters. We go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Judge Gabe Sabeda scores the contest, 29-28, Kukowski. Judge Brandon Mason scores the contest, 29-28, Williams. And Judge Larry Struck scores the contest, 30-26. For your winner by split decision, Matt Kukowski.
We had Kukowski on our scorecards, and it is indeed Kukowski who gets the win over Williams, as he will find his first amateur victory and even his record at 1-1. All right, 2 fights in the book. We are back with our third fight of the night on TVW next.